Hey guys, Divine Freak here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so it can ring you every time I upload a video. So Star Wars Squadron game trailer got recently released by EA, and from the looks of it, it's very promising. There has not been a space combat focused Star Wars game for a very long time. From the looks of it, Star Wars Squadron will have an optional support use of VR, which I think will be very amazing to play a Star Wars game fully with VR. This game is set to be released on October the 2nd of 2020. I personally cannot wait to see how this game turns out to be. While the game cannot come any sooner, these are the top 6 space combat Star Wars game that you should play while you wait for Star Wars Squadron. Number 6. Star Wars Starfighter. This Star Wars game takes place in the Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace movie timeline. Released on February 19, 2001 for the original Xbox, PS2, and PC. In this game, you get to play as a young pilot named Reese Dallos, who is the member of Naboo Royal Fighter Corps, piloting N1 Naboo Starfighter, fighting droid ships that belong to the Trade Federation in this game. In addition to Reese Dallos, you also get to play as 2 different characters as well, such as Wana Sage, who pilots a Guardian Mantis, and a badass pirate named Nim, who drives a unique ship called Havoc. This game also allows you to drive a Sith Infiltrator ship, as a secret bonus ship, also known as Darth Maul's ship, as seen in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. This game timeline and locations are very unique, and it is something that you do not see in current Star Wars games. This game is a very short game, but it's fun, and it's definitely worth the experience. This game is currently available on Steam, GOG, Origin, and PlayStation Network. Number 5. Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. This game is a sequel to Star Wars Starfighter, released in 2002 on PS2 and original Xbox. This game takes place before and during the Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones movie. The story features a Jedi Master called Adi Gallia and the badass pirate from the previous game called the Nim. This game features a number of unique areas that belongs to Clone Wars era. This game features a lot of unique ships to play, such as returning ship like Nim's Havoc from a Star Wars Starfighter, with Jedi Starfighter from a Star Wars Episode 2 version. This game also includes a lot of bonus ships, such as classic X-Wing from the original trilogy, as well as classic TIE Fighter from the original trilogy, being one of the fastest ship with the fastest laser in the game. This game also introduced a new ship to the Clone Wars era for the first time ever from the Confederacy of Independence System, short for CIS. Faction, a fighter called a Sabaean Starfighter, another unique ship that first appeared as a non-playable ship on the Star Wars Starfighter called Freefall, engineered by none other than Nim's friend pirate called Jenkins. The next unique ship is called the Zoomer, which first appeared as a non-playable ship on Star Wars Starfighter, which belonged to a mercenary called Reti. The Zoomer is available as a bonus ship, and it has a lot of missiles and mines and all kinds of different arsenals to fight against droid fighters. The next bonus ship is a Republic ship that was first seen on Star Wars Attack of the Clones, which got a very unique green laser beam that is really powerful. Last but not least, there is also Slave 1, which was the ship piloted by Jango Fett in a Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, and later by his son Boba Fett in a Star Wars Episode 5 Empire Strike Back. Also, what makes this game really unique is the fact that as a Jedi you can use force powers in your Starfighter. You have 4 force powers as a Jedi, such as Force Lightning, which can be used to electrify droid ships, Force Shield, which protects your Jedi Starfighter from enemy laser cannons, Force Reflexes, which allows you to slow down the time and make you faster than other Starfighters in the space, and last but not least, Force Shockwave, which causes a blast in space which can destroy 3 to 5 enemy fighters at once. This game is one of the few Star Wars games that allows you to use force power in space as a Jedi, which makes it a very unique game. Also, did I mention that this game has 2-player co-op mode, with 5 scenarios, such as battle between Obi-Wan and Jango Fett in space from the Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. This game is currently available on PlayStation Network for PlayStation 4 and Xbox Live for the latest Xbox One. But also you can play this game on a PS2 emulator such as PCSX2. Number 4. Battlefront 2 Classic 2005. This game was released on October 31st of 2005 for the original Xbox, PS2, PSP, and PC. This game is absolutely a great game. It also has amazing space combat. You can fly ships across the prequel era and the original trilogy era of Star Wars. In this game, you can pick a pilot class and jump on an interceptor type of starfighters such as TIE Interceptor of the Empire, A-Wing of the Rebels on the original trilogy era of Star Wars, Jedi Starfighter on the Republic, and Droid Tri-Fighter on the CIS from the prequel era of Star Wars. These type of starfighters are designed to hunt down other starfighters specifically, and are not for bombing capital ships. Then there is the bomber class starfighters such as Y-Wing of the Rebels, TIE Bomber of the Empire from the original trilogy era. What is interesting about these two starfighters that I just mentioned is that 2 players can be on each starfighter. One player will be driving the starfighter, while the other player will be controlling the turrets in the Y-Wing, and on the TIE Bomber, the other player will be able to control the missiles. These starfighters are only available on the original trilogy era of Star Wars. While on the prequel era of Star Wars, you have V-Wing of the Republic, and on CIS, you got General Grievous Starfighter, also known as Bell Bulb 22 Starfighter. These type of starfighters are designed to bomb capital ships. There is also regular starfighters, which are a balance of bombing and hunting other starfighter, such as X-Wing of the Rebel, TIE Fighter of the Empire in the original trilogy era of Star Wars. While in the prequel era of Star Wars, you have ARC-170 of the Republic and Vulture Droid of CIS. These starfighters have a little bit of both the bombing class starfighter and an interceptor class starfighter. They can bomb capital ships as well as hunt other starfighters, but they are not as effective as hunting starfighters like an interceptor class of a starfighter, or be able to bomb a capital ship like a bombing class of a starfighter. There's also gunships in this game, which can have up to more than 3 players on each ship, with 1 player piloting the ship while the other players control the turrets and the missiles of the gunship. The gunship on the original trilogy era in Rebellion side is called Alliance Assault Craft, which is the same exact type of gunship used on the prequel era on the Republic side, but it's just called a different name. It is called LAAT. While the Empire has a gunship called Landing Craft, which looks like the shuttle used by Emperor Palpatine on Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. While the CIS have their own gunship, which is just simply called Droid Gunship, which was seen on Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith movie on Battle of Kashyyyk. Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic 2005 has many iconic space locations. One of the notable ones are Yavin 4 from the original trilogy era, and Kashyyyk from the prequel era. This game is currently available on Steam, GOG, and Origin. Number 3. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. This game was released originally on Nintendo GameCube on November 18, 2001 as a sequel to Star Wars Rogue Squadron on N64 and PC. This is a truly amazing Star Wars space combat game that lets you play as Luke Skywalker and Wedge Antilles. This game also includes a lot of iconic locations such as Battle of Yavin 4 from Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope and Battle of Endor from Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi. You pilot starfighters such as X-Wing, A-Wing, B-Wing, Y-Wing, as well as bonus ships such as Millennium Falcon, Slave 1, TIE Advance, also known as Darth Vader TIE Fighter, regular TIE Fighter, and a car. That's right, you can drive a car in space. The space combat in this game is very fast paced, with you being with a squadron of 3 starfighter, with you controlling the middle starfighter as you can command your squadron to do different things such as protecting a capital ship, attacking other starfighters, or taking out capital ships' turrets. Even though this game was made on 2001, the graphic of this game still looks amazing to this day. This game is only available on Nintendo GameCube and it can only be played on a GameCube console or a Nintendo Wii with a backwards compatibility of GameCube, or it can be played on a Dolphin emulator on PC. Number 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA 2017. This game was released on November 17 of 2017. This game has one of the most amazing space combat ever, with a high quality graphic that looks very realistic to all Star Wars movies. This game has starfighters from all era of Star Wars movies, with a very well crafted space combat. Just like classic Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005, this game gives you 3 types of a starfighter: Interceptor Starfighter, Bomber Starfighter, and a regular Starfighter. Each Starfighter consists of 3 abilities, unique to their class of a Starfighter. However, in this game, the Bomber class Starfighter is actually a Y-Wing instead of a V-Wing. V-Wing in a Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA 2017 is actually an Interceptor class Starfighter, which actually makes more sense than being a bomber, because V-Wing actually looks very small, like A-Wing and other Interceptor class starfighters. Our current 70 is still a regular starfighter on the Republic side. On the CIS side of the prequel era, the bomber class starfighter has changed from General Grievous starfighter to Hyena class bomber droid, which actually makes more sense than a Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic 2005. In the original trilogy era of Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017, the Rebellion side have the same exact starfighters as the Star Wars Battlefront 2 Classic 2005, with Y-Wing as a bomber, A-Wing as an Interceptor starfighter class, and X-Wing as a regular starfighter. Same thing can be said about the Imperial side on the original trilogy era, with TIE Bomber as a bombing class starfighter, and TIE Interceptor as an Interceptor class starfighter, and a TIE Fighter as a regular starfighter. This game also has sequel trilogy era, with only 2 ships on each side in the sequel trilogy faction. The Resistance faction have X-Wing and A-Wing only, with A-Wing as an Interceptor class and X-Wing as a regular fighter class. Whereas the First Order faction only got 2 types of TIE Fighter, one being a regular TIE Fighter and one being an Interceptor TIE Fighter, with the Interceptor TIE Fighter having just a small turret underneath of the TIE Fighter, similar to the same TIE Fighter that Finn and Poe Dameron escaped the Finalizer Star Destroyer from Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens. It is kind of disappointing that there's only 2 starfighter per faction on the sequel trilogy era. Having seen Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, there was more starfighters that were introduced on that movie. What I like about the space combat in Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017 is that it clearly tells you what a starfighter is: a regular starfighter, or Interceptor class starfighter, or a bombing class starfighter. Whereas in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 classic version, you just had to pick a starfighter without knowing which starfighter is an Interceptor class, or regular starfighter, or a bombing class starfighter until you fully tried them out. And an interesting addition that this game has on a space combat is that they have added hero ships in this game, where you can pick your hero and drive their starfighters. A starfighter such as Sith Infiltrator Starfighter from Darth Maul, where you can actually become invisible in space and attack other starfighters fully clocked in space. Each hero starfighter has their own unique ability that is based on their own characters. Some hero starfighters have 4 abilities instead of 3 abilities. This game also has 3 different Millennium Falcon from 3 different eras. One is from Han Solo movie, one is from the original trilogy era, and the other one is from the sequel trilogy era. And they all have slightly different abilities. For example, Rey and Chewie Millennium Falcon does not have the same ability as Han and Chewie Millennium Falcon, or Lando and L3-37. The hero starfighter of this game consists of 3 Millennium Falcon that I just mentioned earlier, Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, Luke Skywalker X-Wing, and Poe Dameron X-Wing, and Tali Lintra A-Wing. Whereas the villain side have Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer, a Slave 1 for Boba Fett, Scimitar for Darth Maul, also known as Sith Infiltrator Starfighter, Iden Versio's Special TIE Fighter, and lastly, Darth Vader's Special TIE Fighter, which is also known as TIE Advanced TIE Fighter. This game allows you to use both heroes and villains as Starfighter across all era of Star Wars. You want TIE Silencers of Kylo Ren in the prequel era? You got it. you want the Millennium Falcon of Rey on the original trilogy era, you got it. This is one of the few Star Wars games that allows you to use any era of hero or villain as Starfighter on any era of Star Wars movies that you want. This is also one of the few Star Wars games where you can use Force abilities as a Jedi hero character. For example, Luke Skywalker X-Wing can use the Force, as well as Yoda and Rey and Chewie and Darth Vader and Kylo Ren and Darth Maul. This game is by far one of the best quick space combat multiplayer game that has ever been made by now. Also in this game, your Starfighter can level up, where you can get ability cards that can be unlocked by gaining experience in multiplayer, which you can use it on your Starfighter, which can give you a great advantage towards the other players. This game is available on Steam, Origin, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Number 1. Star Wars Galaxies Jump to the Lightspeed expansion. Yes, you heard it right. Star Wars Galaxies have the best space combat experience ever. The game takes place between Episode 4 and Episode 5. You can customize your character with 10 different species, including Wookiee species. You can pick 9 classes from crafting to being a dancer, musician, support class, healer, medic, to military type of class like Commando. And of course, iconic classes such as Jedi and Bounty Hunter. But what is cool about Star Wars Galaxies is that piloting class is a subclass. You can be a pilot with any class, and its leveling is completely separated from the combat class. It got its own leveling system. You can choose between 3 piloting class. One is Rebel piloting, which forces you to join the Rebellion faction. The other is the Imperial piloting, which forces you to join the Imperial faction. And one is a Privateer pilot, which can be neutral or take the Empire side or the Rebel side. You can simply be a neutral mercenary as a private pilot and work temporarily on Rebel or Empire side, or fully join each side. Or you can just stay neutral and not take any part in the Galactic Civil War. The space combat in this game is mind-blowing, detailed, and is still ahead of its time. You can choose not only to disable ships, engine, reactor, or turrets. Also, each ship can be customized to any color with 6 different styles of painting, except the Imperial faction, which cannot be customized to any color due to the lore of Star Wars. You can also customize your ship engines, guns, reactor, shield generator, booster, and armor as well. Each faction can have its own unique ship that can only be piloted by that faction. However, there are ships that can be piloted by any pilot class, such as YT-2400, Jedi Starfighter, ARC-170, General Grievous ship, Y-8 mining ship, Wee-Wing Starfighter, and KSE Fire Spray, also known as Boba Fett ship. The Rebel piloting faction has ships like X-Wing Advance, X-Wing, Z-95 Headhunter, Y-Wing, A-Wing, B-Wing, T-Wing, YKL-37R Nova Courier, which is very similar to Millennium Falcon, Incom X-4 gunship, which is a gunship with so many different turrets, whereas the Empire faction got the classic TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber, TIE Advanced, also known as Darth Vader Unique Starfighter, Imperial Guard TIE Interceptor, which is a unique TIE Interceptor with the color of red, TIE Aggressor, which got turrets in the back that can be controlled by another player, TIE Oppressor, and TIE Defender. The Empire have their own Millennium Falcon type of ship that is inspired from Darth Maul's ship. It is called WT-49 Decimator, and they also have their own gunship, which is called YE-4 gunship. Freelance pilots have their own ships, such as Sisk Interceptor, Heavy 6 Interceptor, Naboo N1 Starfighter, Dune Lizard Starfighter, Kimagula Starfighter, Kirax Assault Fighter, Vakasai Starfighter, X-Yin Fast Craft, Riksig Attack Ship, Havoc Starfighter from a Starfighter game, Krite Gunship, YT-1300, also known as Millennium Falcon, Black Sun AEG-77 Vigo Gunship. Also in Star Wars Galaxy Jump to Lightspeed expansion, which was released on PC on October 27 of 2004 as an expansion to the Star Wars Galaxy MMO, you can fly anywhere in space, as well as having a player using your gun turrets of your ship, just like Star Wars movies. You can decor your ship in any way you desire, In addition to that, every player will get a free ship called Source of Luxury Yacht, which is given to all players. They can use it without any piloting skills. However, this ship is not modifiable, but also it is a very safe ship at the same time. They cannot be attacked by NPC or player Starfighter. Think of it as a ship that is your house, where you can decorate it, store your items while you travel around the galaxy freely. Also, did I mention that this game has Nim and Jenkins from Star Wars the Starfighter series as an NPC character where you can do quests for them? This game is one of the most detailed space combat Star Wars game ever. You can choose what kind of droid you like to have on your Starfighter. Also, you can choose to fire your laser cannon of your choice. For example, when I press 1, I fire the first laser cannon. When I press 2, I fire the second laser cannon. It all depends on how many weapons your ship or your Starfighter can handle. If you want to fire all of your laser, you just simply press the left mouse button. This game is by far one of the best space combat experience, which consists of more than 10 space locations with tons of quests and PvP multiplayer. The only way for you to play a Star Wars Galaxy Jump to Lightspeed is through an emulator called Star Wars Galaxy Legend, where you sign up for free. All you gotta do is go to StarWarsGalaxyLegend.com and follow their instruction on their website on how to play it. Do you agree with my list? Let me know in the comment section. What is your top 6 Star Wars Space Combat game? Hope you enjoyed my top 6 Star Wars Space Combat game to play before Star Wars Squadron comes out. Don't forget to like and hit the subscription button with the bell so it can ring-a-ring you every time I upload a video. Thank you for watching my video.